due respect, they'll rob you, bro.
Her name is Delicia. Nice to meet you, Delicia.
You know, you gotta find the right ones.
Definitely gotta find the right ones, man. Shit.
We call this chic vote. I gotta get them. You know, trending topics, information that's relevant right now. To not talk about that, you know what I'm saying? It's not the way that it should be done. Think about the news. What does the news really do? The news delivers relevant information about today. That's how it gets viewership. Now, they spin it and they package that news how? They package that news in a negative manner because fear sells.
Yep.
So just by understanding how powerful news is, you ever watch a movie and you see that little kid, that paper boy, standing in the corner, you know, trying to sell that newspaper?
Yeah.
People want to know what's going on in the world. That's why the news works.
Yeah.
That's why it works. To not do that, it's just you're leaving the vast majority of valuable viewership out.
Because a lot of people want to know, like, how can they use that news to benefit their lives?
Absolutely. And everybody has a different life experience. They have a different perspective.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, it's not something I want to get into right now. I think we need to focus on what's working for us.
Absolutely.
But I think in the future, you know what I'm saying? And I'll make sure I keep my Habibi on in the process while we're talking about those things.
Guys.
That way the bias is interesting, right?
Doing it for the culture, man. That's what matters.
Absolutely. You wanna launch this
Yes,
off? You wanna
sir.
set this off?
Guys, the last 20 minutes of this episode was packed with gems. You don't want to miss it. So make sure you watch it fully through in full context. Check out the latest episode. Guys, tuning in, episode 5, man. You know, this thing is rolling fast. I love it. Welcome to the Hustle Man Show, where real talk meets real moves in business and real estate. I'm your host, Kareem, better known as AMG Reem. Some people call me Astro. And I'm here with my right-hand man, my co-host, Mohammed. We don't got a good nickname for you yet, bro. What's coming? Cigar Mo or something like that.
I like the Sheik. You can give me the Sheik.
The Sheik, man. The Sheik is in the house right now.
Habibi Sheik. You know? I had a few people call me Habibi, actually.
Word?
Recently. They're like, yeah, you Habibi. I'm like, yeah, I'm Habibi.
That's you.
It didn't sound like a slur or anything negative.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean?
Habibi.
Yeah.
Habibi Sheik in the house, man.
Habibi Sheik in the house.
This man's the definition of a self-made mogul. From running thriving retail stores both online and on the streets to holding down prime real estate. We're talking quadplex. We're talking commercial, buying holds, right? Fixing flips. My man's done everything under the sun for sure, including those coveted boardwalk spots. We're talking the Jersey Shore, man. Y'all check it out on TV. My man's in real life at the Jersey Shore running things up. So check him out. He's built his empire brick by brick with nothing but hustle, grind, and pure willpower. No shortcuts, just straight up determination.
Man, what a beautiful intro. And I'm here with my man, my brother from a different mother, AMG, a.k.a. Astro, Reem, all right? This man started a couple of years ago with literally nothing. No real contacts, no knowledge of this industry, and built himself a nice little portfolio in Toledo by just believing in himself and just allowing himself to do what needs to be done. So I couldn't ask for a better co-host.
Appreciate it, man.
We're also here with the producer, the DJ on the ones and twos, Mr. Dr. Phil. All right, he's producing this joint, and we want to acknowledge that. We appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you. So today's an interesting day.
But last night was also an interesting night.
Last night was real interesting.
Yeah,
last night was real interesting.
I felt good for the soul, man.
Why don't you just tell people who Colleen is, real quick?
You don't
know.
know.
You know her better than I do. So just tell people who Colleen is.
Yeah, man. If you don't know, you better find out, bro. Colleen's a good friend of mine. She's a very strong catalyst for me in my real estate career because when I got into mentorship, I paid for a program a couple years ago, 2021. I was learning the videos. I knew how to do it from A to Z. But Colleen was the one showing up in classes like, hey, this is like, you have all the information you need now. So she was helping me bridge that fear, like Kareem, talking to everybody. You have all the information you need how to wholesale real estate. It's time for you to get out there and make those calls. The worst thing you're going to get is a no. So that, I'll never forget those moments, like just showing up in class, man, putting in those reps, because that's helped me get over that hump to where I'm at today. So Colleen's a great friend, man. You know, we've done business before. I learned a lot from her. I still learn a lot from her. And she has a very amazing and special story, man. I feel like it's not my right to really speak on it, but long story short, man, she's deals on wheels, man. That's how she brands herself. Yeah. She, you know, some time ago, she lost her legs. She's been paralyzed from the waist down. She did not let that stop her, bro, or hold her back in any regards. Her first year of getting into real estate altogether, she did 42 deals while in a wheelchair. Would you let that breathe for a second? 42 wholesale deals.
Absolutely insane.
Within 1 year, brand new. Now she's killing it. She's making money, and she's now actually about to do a procedure, man, to walk again. So fast forward to where we at today. We had a send-off party for her last night, man, just kind of giving all the warm wishes and gratitude to Colleen as she transitions into another chapter in her life, man. So shout out to you, Colleen. Investing with Colleen on Instagram. Check her out.
I just want to say a quick few things about her story. Yeah, I mean, you're friends with her. I don't know her as well as you do. I was just there to support her with you yesterday. Absolutely. Before she has her surgery. So I just need people to understand this for a second. Everybody that gets into a business or gets into this business, gets into flipping, gets into wholesaling, whatever the case may be, this woman is paralyzed doing deals. Like, just stop and think about that for a second. She's lost the ability to walk, and that has not stopped her. Bro, I got to be honest with you, man. I'm not really impressed by a lot of things. You know, I've met a lot of different kind of people. I've been blessed and fortunate, so I don't know, maybe I got a little callous with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm not really impressed with a lot. I am impressed by her. I don't know her. We don't do any business with her. I don't know her personally.
Right.
Like, you know her. But, you know, I went out there to support her yesterday because she 100% is an inspiration.
Yes.
Like, just stop and think about losing the ability to walk and then being able to build a business that provides for you while you're in that situation, and then buy your legs back.
Yep. She
Pause.
Supports her son. She has a son, man.
Just let that sit. Yep. She's buying her legs back with wholesale. Fuck a Rolls.
Yep.
You know?
Fuck a penthouse.
Forget it, bro. What does that mean? Things?
That's his materialism, man.
Bro, they're things. They don't mean shit. She's buying her legs back. Damn. And she's going over to Mexico and she's doing this alone.
Yeah.
What a gangster, bro.
Yeah. She's a G, bro.
She's 100% a thug. She's got to be one of the strongest people I've ever met.
100%.
Like, that situation, I don't know.
She's mad funny, too.
She's funny. It ain't, she's not sitting there like, woe is me, man. She's a hustler, bro.
Yeah.
Like, when you speak to her, you're like, she's on it.
Yo.
She's on it. She has, what does she do? She does those weekly shows.
Oh yeah, Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Yeah, check out the Mortgage Syndicate, man. Free game every Thursday.
She does a Mortgage Syndicate, and I'm talking to her yesterday. I met her for the first time, and I told her to her face, like, I'm inspired by you. You know, when somebody inspires me, I don't have a problem telling them that.
Respect.
Right? She's inspiring to me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to understand like how she was gonna get her surgery done. And Reem asked her, he said, so what's the problem? I asked him I couldn't ask her myself because I don't know her that well. So I wasn't going to go and just ask her that question. Mm-hmm. So Reem asked her on my behalf. And he was like, how are you actually going to do this? She's going to Mexico to get the surgery and 6 weeks of rehab by herself.
She catching flights, bro, while paralyzed.
Bro.
Like, just...
Shout out to Colleen, bro. We wish you luck. We're praying for you. We hope you get everything you need out of that situation. God willing, you're you're able to walk again. God willing, you're able to walk into this warehouse, sit in a chair, and have a discussion with us about how you did what you did. Like, I think
Looking forward to it.
absolutely. I think anybody watching this show that has any doubts about whether they can do this or not, whether they can get themselves, their families out of a situation, I need you to take the Colleen story seriously.
Yeah, real quick, people, I want you to really understand, right? Colleen, she's allowed to have every excuse in the excuse book, bro.
She's in a wheelchair. You would accept it.
You would accept it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, bro, she's flying out to California to meet sellers, bro, in
Yeah.
a wheelchair.
Yeah.
That's like, no, like, that's what she's doing. She owns real estate. She pulls up the tax sales. She buys properties, right? She sources tenants, deal with contractors. She wholesales real estate at a high level. She runs a team. She runs a business in a wheelchair. There's no excuses in this business, bro.
Very, very inspirational, man.
It's all in your head.
Shout out to Colleen. We wish you luck.
Yeah, again, at Investing with Colleen on Instagram. Check her out, man.
Absolutely. So today's episode is about
The 10 flip commandments
Yes.
from my man, the best man to be speaking on this topic.
I want to say the best. I'm maybe one of the best.
You're the
but
best in my eyes, brother.
I appreciate that.
No disrespect to anybody else out there, but like,
I appreciate
you're
that.
not normal by any means.
There's
bro.
a lot of people that are doing this that in the flip game that are doing amazing work. I happen to be one of them. I appreciate you saying that.
For sure.
There's a lot of people that are doing really, really great work. There's some people doing not great work.
Yep.
You know, keeping a buck. But there's people that I look at their work and I say, man, they're on. You know what I mean? So we wanted to take a minute and break down the flip aspect. So for those of you that want to get into the real estate business and you want to flip houses to make money, right? Now you see a lot of shows on HGTV, you see a lot of shows on DIY, you see a lot of network shows produced on the subject. The reason why there's a lot of popularity surrounding this is there's money to be made.
Yeah.
Like, we're just keeping it 100,
Yeah.
right? You're able to do really, really well flipping homes. If you know what you do, you got to caveat that with if you know what you're doing.
Right. But real quick, from an
Yeah.
HGTV standpoint, like, it's also kind of entertaining to see a complete shell of a house turn into a beautiful home.
Yeah, it's entertaining to see that. It's also entertaining. See, when you're flipping a house, it's interesting. You see these cameras in the room right now? Once you have this content and you give it to an editor could cook this up in any way. Like, you could give the same camera to 10 different people and get 10 different results.
True.
It's the same thing with a home. You understand?
Yeah.
So what you're really seeing is somebody's like perspective. It's a type of art, and the medium happens to be dirt.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you get to see how their mind thinks and the brilliance of somebody through their work.
Right.
That's what architecture is. That's what building is. That's what
Right.
rehabbing is. And some people, you see like a complicated process. You see like a complex mode of thinking. And others, you see, you know,
I like
a
what you
basic
said with
way to
art.
do it.
Yeah. That's something I like to focus on too, because like, yeah, I have a strong passion with art. Like, my mother, she went to art school, and I used to like to sketch and all that type of stuff. And I've always like appreciated art as a young kid.
Yeah.
So now that I'm in the business world, I always like to kind of identify the art in the process. And like, flipping a home, that's pure art. Like, it's business. The number, like, we're going to get into the whole business aspect, but at the end of the day, like, you're creating something beautiful, a great product for people to live in. It's a special thing.
So the way I view that art, the way I view this art or any art in general, is I like to be the best type of artist. What is the best type of artist in my view? The best type of artist in my view is one that people are willing to pay for their art. Right? So think of it this way. Would Picasso be Picasso if he wasn't selling art for millions and millions of dollars? No. So you have to understand that there's a business to art. I don't want to be a hobbyist.
I have a question for you. I wanted to be an artist when I was a kid. And then I forgot who told me this in school. It was like high school. They're like, Kareem, like, artists only gets paid after they pass away.
That's not true. Picasso got paid while he was alive.
Okay.
Picasso got paid. There's a story about Picasso. A lady walked up to him and she asked him to draw her something. And he drew her like a stick figure or something like that. I don't know if the story is true or not, but the idea is true. The idea makes sense. And he drew her like a quick little doodle. Like he drew something really quick on a piece of paper and he handed it to her and he was like, $1,000, please. And she was like, $1,000? That took you 5 minutes. He was like, this took me a lifetime to understand and learn how to do.
Right.
The 5 minutes that it took my lifetime prior to that got me this 5 minutes, got me the experience to be able to do this in 5 minutes.
Right.
So, no, I think
that's a good point.
There's some artists that get paid while they're alive. An artist like think about all musicians. Would Kanye be Kanye if he wasn't getting paid?
Right.
For his art?
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Would Michael Jackson be Michael Jackson if he wasn't getting paid for his art?
Art is a broad spectrum for sure.
Art is a business. And you can't buy art supplies without the business. So that's the way I view the medium of creating.
Absolutely, man. So if somebody wanted to, we had another point to finish.
And flipping, I treat that way.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in just creating. I'm interested in creating a product, a marketable product that people pay me for. I want them. That's the best case scenario for me.
Yeah.
I sell them a product, and they love it, and I get the best of both worlds. I get to be the artist and the businessman.
Right.
You know what I mean? To me, that's a win-win.
100%.
So
it started to feel like not so much like work sometimes, even though it's stressful.
Yeah.
But you're crafting a piece of art every single time.
I love creating that product. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's products that I love creating. Real estate is one of those products that I love crafting.
Right.
It involves a lot of different tools.
Would you say real estate more, or like your custom, jerseys?
I love all product creation. That's a blessing to be able to take your ideas and make them into a product, and then have people buy it and pay you money for it, bro. That's not work. That's a blessing.
That is a blessing.
Yeah.
That's
so the work is everything that comes before it.
Right.
All the time, the effort, the work that goes into it. But the blessing is clear. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
So for those of you that want to get into, the flip business, if you want to flip a house, if you want to get into flipping homes, we've crafted a step-by-step guide, and we're going to include that in the top right corner of this. We're going to just include that for you guys. We'll give you that value. That way you can learn how to flip a house step-by-step by following this guide. So what's the first thing on that list?
Absolutely, man. It's coming from the man himself. So step one, of course, identify the deal.
Yeah, it always comes down to that. Buy it right.
Buy it right, man. Yeah. What do you have? What's your subject property? What that looks like?
You make your money on a flip like any other deal. You buy it right. Yeah. If you don't buy the product right, you're not gonna make money on the deal.
You have to understand your exit strategy first and foremost. So now you don't have to, real quick, you don't have to narrow it down like I'm going to only Airbnb this thing. Like having options goes a long way in real estate, man.
You have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. And you figure out, so if you buy a property, you underwrite it, and you buy it right, your goal is to what? Your goal is to flip it, right? Like that's your first goal was to buy it and sell it.
Right.
So you're creating that product for sale. You underwrite it correctly and you buy it right. As long as you buy it right, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
If you don't buy it right, no matter what work you do to it, you're not going to be able to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cash flow positive. So identifying the deal, buying it right is the first step. What's the next step that you see?
Next step, man. So you have to inspect that property.
Yes.
Get a proper scope of work. You call it SOW. I'm sure at this point, at this stage, you understand like, wait, I have something I could flip here.
So you can't buy it right unless you know what work is involved and what the ARV is.
Right.
Like your after renovation value. You need to understand what the after renovation value is on the property, what the work that's involved, like what work is involved, what's the scope of work on this project, how much money you need to make on it. Take all those items off of your ARV and you end up with an offer price.
Right.
So let's say you're buying a house that's $200,000 and you know it needs $50,000 worth of work. And you know you got $50,000 worth of profit that you need to make, right? And then you got holding costs of 20, right? Because
real quick for people who new, like what's holding costs?
So like soft costs are holding costs, like the financing. If you're buying this with hard money, you got interest that you got to pay on that.
Yeah. So if you're fixing and flipping during the process of renovating, you have to pay that mortgage every month.
If you're funding the deal with a loan, you're gonna have to pay for that loan. Those are soft costs.
Yeah.
Right. If you're paying for taxes, insurance, utilities in that process. Those are all soft costs.
Right.
So you got to include that. So once you include that, your highest allowable offer is 80 grand.
Yeah.
So if you feel like this is a strong offer at 80 grand, you can make a hot like that. That's a top offer I would make.
Right.
I usually come in under that price.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanna buffer myself in the rental process, because when you're doing a rental, bro, you don't know
what's behind those walls.
Yeah, you do the rental, you're thinking like, oh, these walls are like perfect. The framing is perfect. No, it's not. Or you pull down the ceiling and you find out all the framing is 2x4 and needs to be 2x10 or 2x12. Wow. It's not structurally sound.
You have to anticipate on the buy.
Some of the stuff is impossible. Yeah. How do you know that there's termites in a wall?
Right.
How can you tell? You can't tell. You can't look through a wall.
Yeah.
There's no device that I know about yet that tells you like these things.
The Superman vision.
Yeah, you can't really look through a wall and say there's termites in the wall. I got to reframe half this freaking wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would put in an offer. I would put in a little bit of a buffer, give them a little bit less, and then buy myself some like a buffer.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if there was any mistakes, if there's any contingencies that I needed to account for, I have that extra buffer.
Right.
Yeah. So after you've identified the deal, you've identified what the value is, what the scope of work is, what's the next thing on your list? Your funding.
Funded it. Yeah. How do you fund the deal?
So funding a deal happens in a few different ways. Ideally, if you have the cash, I don't know if that's ideally or not, but let's stick with that for a second. If you have the cash to do a reno, then you don't have a lot of the holding costs. That's somebody that doesn't have the cash.
Right.
You don't got to go out and go get hard money. You don't have to go out and go get private money to get a loan. So by having that cash available, you're able to make a cash offer, move quickly, lock down the deal. Like when you're sending out these offers, let's say you're sending out an offer to a realtor or a homeowner, you have a jump when you say, I can close cash, I can close quick.
Yep.
By having the cash.
That's an advantage, yo.
Yeah, you have that advantage, and then you have the soft holding cost advantage. You're not sitting on a loan that you're paying month after month after month.
Yeah.
You're able to utilize your funds. There's opportunity costs in using those funds, but at least you're not paying interest.
And understand, like, those hard money loans are usually the highest interest rates because it's temporary funding.
They're hot. It's when we say hard money or bridge loan, those are really interchangeable for us.
Yeah.
And you're paying out a higher rate of interest than you would on, let's say, a conventional loan or something like that. But the reason for that is they're taking a risk by lending you money. You're buying a distressed property.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're hitting you with that interest rate, and you got to hold that rate. You got to consider that a soft cost. So you got to put that part of your offer.
For sure.
So funding your deal, you can do it with cash. You can do it with hard money. You can go get the money from your rich uncle. If you have one of those, if one of your family members is a sheik, you can go get the sheik's money and say, listen, I need some paper. Let me hold 100. Let me hold 200.
Yep.
Let me do this deal. Maybe I'll give you 10% on the profit split. There's ways to creatively, you can get the seller to seller finance the deal.
Yep.
If they're in a situation where they need to sell this property.
Yep.
You can, there's plenty of ways. You can seller finance this from an investor. There's so many ways you can find private money today that never existed years ago.
Right.
Never.
So true.
So you don't necessarily need the hard cash. What you do need is some type of know-how.
I was about to say, what you need is the education.
You need the information.
Yeah, the information.
And if you have the information, you can gain the experience.
You become an assassin, bro.
Absolutely.
You have tools in your tool belt.
Yes. Taking action in real estate is not spending the money on a house. Taking action in real estate is opening a book. It's watching a podcast.
Yes.
It's surrounding yourself with investors. It's being that guy Spain that we met yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's getting in a car and driving out from Virginia to go meet people that you've never met because you genuinely want to learn and better yourself and your family.
Like-minded people.
Exactly.
So true.
That's step one. Spending the money is not step one.
Knowing how they use the contracts is not step one.
That's not step one.
Yeah.
Like step one is not spending the money and buying the house. Step one is actually researching this year, like taking time. It doesn't have to be years, but taking time to really understand what is the process, how to flip a house. That's why this is going to be like incredibly valuable for people. Like I'm laying this out. I didn't have anybody lay this out for me.
There's a big difference in that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you really understand what's on this list, you have a step-by-step guide. You have a recipe to create a good product.
Recipe to cook, bro.
Yeah.
My man be cooking.
I mean, absolutely.
Cooking.
No question.
Cooking and slapping.
No question.
So you have the funding in place. Talk about having a reputable title company to convey clean title. What does that even mean?
So understanding title is a very important thing. It's so important to us as a business that my partner Phil has his title license. Like we do things different.
Absolutely.
When we want to understand something, we go out and educate ourselves. We pay for that process. So we wanted to understand title really, really well. So Phil went and got his title license.
Shout out to Phil.
Shout out to Phil. He did that while working, running a business, doing other things.
Investing, all
so
that.
all this excuse stuff about I can't do this because I'm busy. Forget all that.
Yep.
That's not realistic. So buying a home, you don't what you own. If you buy a house, you need a clean title for that property. Without a clear marketable title, you don't have anything. And any encumbrances on that title make it incredibly important for you to sell that property. So, for example, you go and buy a house. There's a reason why you go through a title company. You don't buy it from the individual themselves. You don't hand them the money and do a quick claim.
Right.
You don't do the quick claim, which is basically a notarized document that says, I sold the house to Kareem Robinson, sold the house to Mohammed. That's a quick claim deed.
You could do that at the kitchen table.
You could do it with a notary for like $100.
Yep.
It's not really anything crazy. And then you go and record that with the county. But the problem in doing it that way is that you're running a risk.
Yep.
How do I know that there's no liens? How do I know that there's no mechanic liens? How do I know that there's not a mortgage lien that's attached to that title? How do I know that there's not 5 brothers and sisters that have a stake in an inheritance? That there was a probate process.
Something was filed, yeah.
How do you know that you don't have a dirty title? You don't. So what you do is you hire a reputable licensed title company.
What's funny is my first property I ever bought was a quick claim deed.
Yeah.
I did have an attorney review it, check title, and thankfully nothing was on it, but it's a risk for sure.
You did have an attorney review title?
Yeah, I did.
He did an abstract? He pulled a search?
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. In Toledo?
Oh, this time it was Akron.
It was in Akron.
Yeah, that was my first wholesale market.
And did he insure title? Did he get you insurance?
No insurance. He's like, hey, can you check this title real quick? Make sure it's clean. Like, yeah, it looks clean. It was a risk though. That seller could have had like $90,000 of IRS debt and I wouldn't have known about it.
Brother, you got that blessed on you.
100%.
You got that light on you. I tell you what, man. God be putting the light on some people. Some people are uncomfortable with that light. God puts light on people, but God puts blessing on people's lives. And some people are uncomfortable with that blessing, that light.
Wow.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I've never been one to be uncomfortable with somebody's light.
That's respect.
There's an abundant amount of light. That situation could have worked out completely different for you.
Yeah.
You could have got hurt on that deal.
That could have wrecked me, bro.
You could have got hurt.
I was like 6 months into wholesale altogether.
Yeah, but you weren't supposed to get hurt.
That's it.
You were supposed to win on that deal because that's what your blessing was.
And when I met you, I talked about that deal I won, and that's how we met.
That's the
Isn't
deal.
that
The
crazy?
deal that got my attention.
Yes.
The $500 deal.
Yep.
So real quick, can you? I don't want to segue too far off of this, but
Yeah.
just speak on that deal.
I actually got a call from an elderly couple. This is in Akron, Ohio, so I'm wholesaling, I'm wheeling and dealing. And it's probably like my 3rd, 4th deal. And they're like, hey, we're not sure how we got your number, but we have a property we need to sell ASAP. I said, great, what's going on? What's the situation? Because I'm always looking for the problems to solve. Like, long story short, we have one of our distant cousins living in this property. We had a deal figured out. She's supposed to pay us X amount of money. There's certain terms to it. There's a lot of drama involved between the two parties. So the tenant was really pissed off at the elderly couple, and the couple was like, there was a lot of dispute going on. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me just get in the middle of it. Let me calm both parties down and see who wants what. The sellers are like, look, we wanted 20K for the house. I had someone go out there and inspect it. I had a retaining wall issue. The city was on their back. They had a lot of issues. I came back, my look, even at 20K, the deal's not going to work out. Even if I could help out and buy with the tenant in place. They were like, Kareem, at this point, we just want to recoup some money. But like, this lady told me, like, we're not rich or nothing. Like, we're actually pretty tight on money, but I just want to sleep good at night. This house and this tenant's causing so much headache. I got grandchildren, blah, blah, blah. I said, cool. She's like, if you give me, it was actually $1,800, $1,800. If you give me $1,800, I'm willing to sign, but I need to close this out like in the next week or two. I said, oh, let me think about it. And I called my mans up. I'm like, dude, like, this is crazy. The tenant, I was on the same page with her. She wanted to move out soon.
Pause.
For sure.
Let it sit. My man just bought a house for $1,800.
Quickly.
There's no excuses. There's literally no excuse. You bought a house quick claim for $1,800. Say it louder. Say it proud. Say it louder.
$1,800, man.
My man bought a house for $1,800. A house, a home.
Tenant occupied,
paying rent.
Yeah. So I bought it and
they were paying rent.
I collected rent, man,
for $1,800. You bought a cash flowing property. You collected rent?
Yeah, I collected 1 month's rent, bro. I hope the tenant find a new spot.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you what.
Win-win.
This is the greatest business in the world.
Yeah.
I love this shit. Bro, I love this shit so much. I may even do it for free. That's how much I love it. I love this shit. Just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
You bought a house for $1,800 cash flowing. How much did you collect in rent?
I think it was like $600, man. $600 rent, and I sold it same week to a California investor for $20K as is condition.
Bro,
without seeing the property.
He bought a house for $1,800, collected $600 in rent. That means your cash flow you really paid $1,200 for the property.
Yep.
Okay? And then you sold it for how much?
$20K.
Shout out to you for that. Shout out to you for that. That wasn't an accident. God had that light on you. He wanted to bless you with that and change the course of your life.
It was such a blessing because I don't even know how they got my phone number. They just called me like, hey, I don't know who you are, but we need to sell our house.
You're talking about situations in life where your blessings, they just come to you. Now, what you do with that blessing, so super important. You got blessed with that check.
Yep.
Right? You got blessed with that deal.
I'll tell you what I did with it too, right after.
What you do with that deal after that, I'm impressed with the deal, but what's impressive is what you do after you get the deal. Because somebody that never made that kind of money before, they start losing their mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's a lot of money to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So instead of losing your mind, what did you do with that?
Maybe like a month and a half later, bought my first investment property in Toledo. I took it down. There's a probate deal. Took it down for like under 10K. And to this day, I'm still getting paid on it every month.
Amazing. So you went from that deal, you flipped that money into an investment property.
Yep.
And then a year later, like we meet, and then a year later, we got
monetized it.
Yeah, a few dozen doors.
Yes.
Amazing. So that's a little bit of a segue. I think it's super important that you understand how that situation works. But where were we on our list? Our 10
just the important, we're talking about quick claim, the importance of conveying clean title.
Yeah,
for sure.
So you want to hire the right title company. You want to hire the right title company to make sure that you have a clean, marketable, insurable title. You want to hire the right title company to make sure you have a clean, marketable, insured title. It protects you from liens. I mean, you had that lawyer that could have worked out. That may not have worked out. Worked out for you, bro. For whatever reason, it was a risk. Yep. You took that shot, and God willing, thank God it worked out. But by having an insurance policy on there, you insure that title.
So just in case anything pops up, you're insured.
You're insured.
That's it.
You paid an insurance policy on it. You paid for a policy.
Trust me, you don't want to put your hard-earned money out on a house and something pops up. You're not protected.
Once you have that clear title, now you have a marketable property.
Yeah.
Now you have something. You have the property and you have a marketable property with title. So what's our next step?
You got everything. You have your funding in place. You have your clean title.
Yeah.
What does it look like when you're actually closing on the deal?
The closing process, bro, is really a formality. Like when you get to the closing table, everything's done already. Like you're there just to sign documents. The crazy thing for me is when people get to the closing table and they have like 6,000 issues, and you're like, you had a copy of the HUD. You had your statement.
And what's the HUD for people that's new?
It's basically a statement.
It's like a receipt, pretty much, what you're about to pay.
It's a visual statement that outlines what your costs were in a deal.
Right.
What you paid for the deal, what your title costs were, what prepaid taxes were for the deal. Was there any liens that you had to cover, what you're paying the seller?
The legal fees.
You get that. You got asked for that days in advance and review that. When you get to the title closing, when you're at the title company or you have a notary come to you and you're closing, that's a formality. The work has already been done.
Right.
So you're now closing on the property. Now you own the property. You put your funding in place to own it.
You're officially signing your name to the deed.
Yeah, now it's yours.
Yep.
You own it. Now the work starts. Once you own it, now your job is to unown
You're
it.
probably wait. I did all this work. I thought I'm good now. No, that we just
Nah, bro,
that's
your
a
work just
preliminary.
started. Yeah, that was like the appetizer.
Yeah.
That ain't the entree.
That was a warm up.
Yeah. So you own the property. Now you really want to break down from the scope of work. You want to get into the scope of work the way I view it, right? Once I own a property, I put a timer in my brain. Timer on, click. You know what I'm saying?
How fast is your crew out there getting busy?
Bro, we close on a property on Monday. I'm cleaning it out now.
Before it close?
I have access, and I'm closing.
You already know.
And it's a
It's already
dump.
sealed.
So we're just
So
cleaning.
you're not waiting a
we're
week.
we're not demoing. We're just cleaning.
I got you.
Yeah, we're not taking anything apart. We're just cleaning.
Right.
Usually you want to wait to close on
Kind
it,
of prepping, yeah.
but I want to clean the property out, get it prepped.
Yeah.
But normally my process is close on the property, clean it, demo it.
Right.
So I got my crew already, like we've already been in contact. Like we rocking and rolling. They're coming out there with dumpsters. They're cleaning the whole joint out.
Right.
So we'll have that property cleaned out.
You already have insurance on the place, I'm sure, day one once closing time.
Bro, we gotta take our precautions. We gotta take our precautions. So it should be really that fast. You should have a plan of action in place. The work that you've done prior to closing prepares you for the closing. You should have a schedule of events. Your scope of work is clean out, demo, clean out, permitting. Submit your permits.
Right.
Submit your demo permit. Submit all your permitting in place. Get your permitting. Some cities even require you to have a permit to put a dumpster on your own lot.
Wow.
Shout out to municipalities getting money on finesses.
So
to put a dumpster on your own lot.
That's crazy.
To put a dumpster on your own lot, they require you to have a permit.
That. Yeah, you own
It's
that.
your land. You stop.
That's crazy.
It is what it is, bro. These are municipalities.
It's a God-given right that you bought the land. You can't even.
It's kind of weird. I'm gonna be honest with you, but who has time to sit there and argue with municipalities?
Right.
Nobody.
So getting these permits is pretty much like authorizations to do X amount of work to your property.
Well, the word permit is permitting you to do the work.
Right.
That's what you're getting. You're getting a local municipality to permit you to work. You're getting a local municipality to permit you to do demo. You're getting a local municipality to you're giving them a scope of work on your project. If framing needs to be done, sometimes they require architectural plan.
Yeah.
Like they require a drawing of any layout changes.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you submit your plans, your electrical plan, your plumbing plan, your HVAC plan, if framing is changing, you definitely want to submit a framing plan. You want to have an architect draw it out and submit it, because there's building codes that you need to submit.
So you're not just doing things one by one. You're doing it all together.
If you do it one by one, you're gonna die in that project, bro. Yeah. Like straight up.
You're gonna lose your pens, bro.
You're gonna lose everything. you gotta collect all permits. Demo building, electric, plumbing, HVAC, all. If you need a permit for the dumpster, all of it. Submit it all at one time. Then they will look at the permits and then they will contact you and say, "Hey, listen, you're missing a plumbing drawing, you're missing electrical drawing, you're missing HVAC. There's an HVAC drawing that they require. You're missing the permit for the dumpster. You're missing a TCO, a temporary certificate of occupancy.
Right.
You have to get an occupancy certificate even to get started. You're missing these things. You submit that and you let the municipality do its thing. Once they approve you for permitting, they issue what's called a work order number.
Okay.
It's a control number. It's basically your number, that an identifier for those permits, your job number.
Right.
So now you have a number that's issued with that municipality that you can refer to for this project.
Right.
You understand?
Makes sense.
Then they call you in and say, pay. It's time for you to pay.
Yeah.
Look,
How much you looking at on average?
it depends. They have line item costs for every item.
Okay.
It's a business.
You talking 10, 15 grand?
Nah.
That's way too
Nah,
much.
it's a few $1,000s. But they have line items for everything.
Gotcha.
Bathroom, this, that. You don't always have to get a permit. If it's a cosmetic, there are things that are non-permitted.
Gotcha.
Like painting, you don't have to permit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's things that are not permitted. You got to ask your municipality for that.
Right.
We're assuming here a full gut reno. That's what we're assuming.
Right.
And when you're doing a full gut reno, there's utilities need to be updated. Things have to be updated.
Right.
So if you're going to update it, do it right.
Okay. So you have everything checked off. You have your permits submitted. You know, the house is trashed out, cleaned out,
Yeah.
demoed out. What's the first improvement are you doing to the house? Where are you focusing first?
So
Interior, exterior?
I divide my project into phases.
Okay.
Clean out is the initial phase. Then after that, I divide it into exterior. Okay? Like exterior for me is siding, roofing, flashing, soffits. You understand? I save gutters to last.
Yeah.
Because gutters get messed up because people are driving, trucks are coming in and out. Sometimes you have to push gutters out a certain way. So I just want to wait on gutters till I have a clean product.
Right.
And then I have the gutter guys come out and put the gutters up in like a day.
Right.
But exterior in general, I like to attack that first.
Why first?
Well, exterior is dependent on weather. Your guys can't work if it's cold. You know what I'm saying? Like they can, but let's say it's snowing or raining. Do you want a bunch of guys on a roof while it's raining? You want that liability?
Right.
You don't want that kind of headache. And you don't want anybody getting hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you want to knock out exterior first, get that out of the way. Now you have, and also you're protecting the investment.
Yeah, that's true.
If you don't have a roof, you don't have a house. If you don't have a water protected ceiling, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
So by wrapping the house and confirming that the roof is good, the siding is good, the flashing is good, you're sealing the house and you're preventing additional work.
Protecting the bag.
Yeah, because if you let that water continue to penetrate through the roof, you're gonna have additional framing problems.
For sure.
So you just you seal that joint up, cover it up. Now you have that. I include that as the first real work phase.
Right.
Get all that knocked
If you
out.
have foundation issues, do you address it on this phase as well, or
Nah, bro.
It's a whole different thing.
Foundation issues is a whole different bag of worms.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a whole can of worms.
For sure.
Before you do anything, you want to address your foundation.
And guys, again, this goes down to that initial inspection. You need to be catching all of this, you know, at least when it comes to foundation. Now, the things behind the walls, like we spoke about, you can't see through a wall.
Look, if you're gonna be an investor and you're investing in homes, it would behoove you to understand what a foundation should look like. Like what should it look like? You know what I'm saying? There are things, bro, that I don't know. I'm an investor. I'm not an engineer.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't go to school for engineering. I'm an investor.
Yep.
So
Where'd you go to school for investing?
I didn't go to school for investing either. I'm
Self-made, self-taught.
you know what I mean? I didn't go to school for I went to school for accounting and finance.
Yeah.
So I don't, my background is not in design or engineering. So sometimes if you don't know, the best thing you could do is you ask a professional.
But you have taught yourself a lot by asking the right questions.
I mean,
right people.
that's the best way to learn.
Absolutely.
I taught myself all this stuff.
Right.
So real quick, if you have a foundation issue, you need to address that first. Before you do anything else, you need to figure out whether or not it's a salvageable situation. You need to question why you even bought the house.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But there's another school of thought. A lot of people hear foundation problem and they run for the hills. Foundations, it's a problem, but it's a resolvable problem. Everything's resolvable.
Yeah.
It's just the question is how much is it going to cost?
I remember when we started first doing business, and we get photos in Ohio.
Yeah.
And I'll see it Bowen, and for me, immediate write off. Like I'm brand new, not brand new, but I'm a couple years in at that point. And he's like, no, just jack the house up and fill in the bricks here. Like, it's no problem at all. And I'm like, Mo, no, I'm not sure about this one.
That's because you have an engineer's mind.
Yeah.
What I do is I problem solve.
Yes.
So I look at a problem like, there's a problem. What are the solutions for that problem? So if the problem is a foundation problem, there are experts out there. I call 3 experts. Here's an easy way to learn how to deal with foundation problems. Ready? Here's an easy way to learn how to deal with all problems that you don't understand. But let's keep it to houses for now. I call 3 professionals. I asked the 3 professionals the same question 3 different times. Ideally, you call the 3 professionals at different days. That way they're not, overlapping each other. I asked the professional the same question. I asked the other guy the same question. I asked the other guy the same question. I take all their questions and I combine them and I come up with a decision. If this guy tells me it's 10,000, if this guy tells me it's 20,000, if this guy tells me it's 15,000, I know if I dollar to cost average it, I'm into this thing in the teens.
Right.
Right?
That's smart.
And then I also ask them, I say, how are you going to address this? I don't just say, I need you to fix it, send me a bill. I say, how are you going to do it? I want to know how. So I get the knowledge along with the resolution. I don't just fix the problem. I understand how they fixed it. I get the free education.
Yes.
So for me, that's worth 10 grand.
Yeah.
Because I just learned how to address a foundation problem.
That's huge.
You know what I'm saying? I do that with everything, whether it's foundation, any problem. I want to understand how you're going to do it.
That's purpose-driven solution right there, man.
I have an inquisitive mind. So I want to know how.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when they come in and they tell me, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to brace the wall. I'm going to say, okay, why don't you jack it? I'm not telling you, I'm asking you. Why are you choosing to brace it? Let's say you have a bow in a foundation, it's bowing. A bow usually is caused by, it could be like I've seen it happen with roots on a tree and the roots push into the side wall of a foundation. So a foundation is basically walls, right? And you have your basement floor. That's it.
Yep.
So you have a box, you have a floor, and you have the walls. If you have roots pushing on one of the walls, roots are very, very strong. They can bow the wall. So sometimes it doesn't make sense to jack up that wall because it may compromise the rest of the foundation. What you want to do is you want to brace the wall and stop the bowing. Maybe you want to go dig it out from the other side, cut the root, and then brace the wall on the inside.
How do you get it back straight again?
You don't. You stabilize it.
Yeah.
You don't have to get it straight.
Push it back, yeah.
You don't people get so wrapped up with everything. You don't have to do that. You have to address the wall structurally.
Right.
And an engineer will come in and tell you. What? This is the way you resolve it. Somebody that's like licensed will tell you like you resolve it this way. So you ask these 3 guys and then maybe you call an engineer and you get the engineer out and say, look, this is the problem. How do I fix it? This guy told me to do this. This guy told me to do this. This guy, he's going to say, this is the way to do it. And they can actually come up with a plan. And a lot of times when those foundation guys come out, they have their own engineers. Their engineers come up with a plan. And they use those engineers' plans in order to, they basically come up with their ingredient, like their recipe on fixing the problem. They give them the recipe, they sign off on the recipe, and they say, implement this recipe. And then you submit that to the city comes out and inspects and says, yeah, this is fixed or it's not done right.
Love it.
You know what I mean?
Love it.
Make sure you don't pay the guys who did the work until after they passed.
That goes for all contractors.
You hold the money.
Yeah.
That's all you got. You either hold the money or you chasing them. You choose.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you take care of the outside roof, siding, flash, and all that good stuff?
You exterior seal the property.
Right.
That way you have a watertight property.
Absolutely.
What's next?
Interior. What are we looking at?
So interior is an interesting thing. Like interior really depends on what's the work that you expect to do. Are you changing room? Are you increasing room count? Are you increasing bathroom size? Are you adding a bathroom? what is it that you're doing to the property? If you're doing all of that, you're going to need a plan, and then you're going to need to reframe. You frame according to Universal Building Code.
Mm-hmm.
You frame the house out. You get a plan from an architect. He draws up the plan. And he tells you this is what you need. You take that plan and you give that to the GC or the framer. In my case, I deal with framers direct. But you hire the GC, and the GC looks at the plan, and he implements that architectural plan to redesign the interior of the space. When you demo the walls, you look at those walls, and you can see what needs to be addressed.
Right.
Okay. If you have a dip in a floor, now's the time to sister it. Now's the time to address your problems. If you open a wall and you find termite damage, has he eaten 20% of the side of that wall? It's probably time to replace it.
Do termites have like a colony, like a certain area to like exterminate them from, or
you got to
once you remove the wood, then it's fine? Like,
so when you open up the walls, you can clearly see that there's damage.
Yeah.
And when you see that there's damage, you reframe, and then you call a termite expert. The termite expert comes in and treats the area. They come in and they treat the area, and they certify you that it's treated. And you take out whatever needs to be taken out, and you replace it according to building standards.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that framing gets inspected by your rough inspector.
So you're pretty much putting like the bones into the house, essentially.
The way that you need to view a house is the same way you would view a human body. You have a skeleton, you have organs, you have a nervous system. The nervous system is what? It's your utilities.
Mechanicals and all that.
Your utilities.
Yep.
Your skin is the exterior. Is your siding, it's your roof. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's this part of the home. The bones of a home is the framing. You understand?
Yeah.
You can't attach anything without bones. So you need the bones in order to put the utilities, the water, the electric, the HVAC. And you need to position the bones correctly so things fit correctly. If the framing is not right, nothing else is right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the way you view
About
it.
having a good use of space as you're framing the whole house.
A great designer, a great flipper, a great investor, I would say, understands utility, understands form and function, design and utility, form and function. If you don't take into account form and function, you're gonna have a good-looking house that doesn't function well.
Right.
So this is the part of flipping a home that a lot of people, they miss out on that aspect. You understand?
Absolutely.
So that part of it is now you're into the framing.
Yeah. So everything's framed up.
Yeah.
Now it's time to put it in the nervous system, as you say.
So you frame, you do your utilities. Your utilities would be electric on site, whether it's on site or not, gas on site, public water, whether it's on site or not. You still need water supply within the house. HVAC, like how are you heating this house?
Right.
If it's forced air, you need your ductwork, you need your stack, you need all of these things installed. So you frame and then you run all your utilities in your framing.
Right.
So now you have your electric, you have your plumbing, you have your HVAC, you have your supply and return on HVAC.
Talk about that.
Everything has an electrical or HVAC. You have a supply, a push, and a return.
Yeah.
So HVAC works in the cyclical. So you have a forced air push that you feel the air coming to you, and then it has to take the air back in order to force it back out.
Right.
So you need that flow.
Yeah.
Without proper flow, you have an inefficient system.
The house has to breathe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just like us.
Yeah. So if you have stagnant air, you don't have high quality air within the house.
For sure.
And the inefficiency of the unit is wrong.
Which unit exactly?
Your HVAC unit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not, if the flow is wrong, it's not efficient.
Talk about real quick, because I've seen this in person. Like, you have like it's like a breaker panel for plumbing. What's that called exactly? Where you switch off certain valves.
By the way, this podcast, let me take a step back. This podcast is sponsored by swagtex.com. If you're interested in building your brand, if you're serious about your company, if you look around and you look at your staff and you think, man, this is an unprofessional group of people. If you want to project who your company is, first impressions matter. If you walk into a property, if you walk into a home and you don't look the part, people won't treat you as the part. If you're not promoting your brand, nobody will care about it. Marketing, brand development. If you're interested in those things, if you need uniform services, if you're looking for promotional products, I implore you, swagtex.com, ask for David. Going back to what I was saying, what was I saying before that? So when you have plumbing, you have a main 1 inch that comes into the house. Okay?
Yeah.
That 1 inch, the reason why it's a 1 inch is you need proper pressure. We're talking about a public water supply right now. We're not talking about a private well that you're pumping water out of for yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's different water supplies for a house. Without water in a home, you don't have a home. Water is the sustenance of all life. If you don't have water, you don't have a house.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have a roof, you don't have a house.
Yeah.
These are basic things that you need to have. Don't matter how nice the kitchen is, if there's no water, what do you have?
It's crazy how similar like the human body is to
It's
human
very
body,
similar.
to a house.
Very similar.
We also, as I drink water.
Yeah. So the 1 inch pipe comes into the house. I mean, this is like a very detailed description of these things. For all intents and purposes, you just follow your plan. But if we're talking about it, I'll give you a layout of it.
Yeah.
You got a 1 inch entry. Sometimes it's sometimes it's one. It needs to be at least one, is my understanding. And the reason why that needs to be one, it needs to supply pressure, enough pressure to get to all of the devices. So you have a 1 inch stack, and then when you tee off that stack, you can't tee off and then tee off. So visualize it real quick. You have a 1 inch main that's coming in, and then that 1 inch main that's coming in, when you come off of it to go to your sink or toilet, it should come off of the one.
Right.
It shouldn't come off of a 3/4 and then a 3/4. You understand?
Yeah. Gets all janky.
It needs to come off of, well, there's a pressure situation.
Oh, yeah.
It should come off the one. Because by coming off the one, it has the highest level of velocity, like the volume, the pressure is there. Yeah. So that is a different thing. You know, understanding pressure and plumbing, you'll learn over time. Okay, understanding your amp amount in a home based on square footage, that's something that your electrician should know.
Yeah.
Understanding plumbing pressure is something that your plumber should know.
Yeah.
Understanding HVAC is something that your HVAC person should know.
But the theme is, like, as you hire these professionals, you should be asking questions. That way, knowledge is powerful, man.
You're paying for the work and getting the education. Let me say it again so you guys understand. The goal is to get the info for free.
Yep.
You get the work. You could get the work. You're paying for the work no matter what.
You learn through the process.
Yeah. You get a master education on plumbing from a master plumber. And they educate you.
That's a fact.
If you ask the right questions. And a lot of people are so interested in their craft that they're happy to tell you.
Yes.
So if you ask the questions, they'll tell you.
Absolutely. So to zoom back out, plumbing's taking care of electric, gas, all of your rough utilities are put in. What's that inspection approval look like right after that? You can't just put a house together without approval from the city. It's every step of the way. Got to get that checked off.
So once you have your rough all in, once your framing is done, all your utilities are done, now you call for rough inspection. Basically, the city comes out and they inspect all your rough and they give you an approval.
Yep.
Once they give you an approval, they give you a sticker, approved, put it on your wall, looks beautiful, or they give you a red sticker, denied, based on things that you need to resolve. They give you a reason for it. Like, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed. You fix it, then they approve you. Once they approve you, you have the ability to insulate, fire block, insulate, and then close.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you could really just wrapping up the home.
Now you're putting the muscles in.
I see. Yeah, it's really like a human body. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
You put the nervous system in with the utilities, the bones or the studs. You put the nervous system in with the utilities, your water, your land networking, all that stuff.
And for the people that might be thinking like, hey, how do I know what to insulate or what to pour a firewall? You have plans from an engineer from the beginning.
There's the GC should know this.
Yeah.
If you ask your GC what the R rating on a wall is, and they're like, I don't know, you got the wrong GC.
On a new GC, huh?
But do yourself a favor, find somebody else. If you don't know what the insulation on a ceiling is, you're not a GC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you should know these are basic things. There's an R rating. There's an R rating, R19, R21, R20, you know, the R30.
Yeah.
There's an R rating to insulation. And it basically creates it holds your heat or your cooling within the house and insulates your home.
For sure.
That's what insulation is.
Yeah. I used to work at Lowe's. I used to see all those bundles of the Pink Panther insulation. I was like, R22.
The right insulation is super important because it gives your house the correct R factor.
I see.
Within the home.
What's an R factor? It's like a equation based.
It holds an R factor. I think it's radiant. I think it is. Don't quote me on this. But the R factor gives your home. The R factor tells you how strong that insulation is for what area you're using it for.
Right.
So there's also insulation that's fire blocking. That's safe and sound. It's fire retardant. So if there's a fire, it creates a block between you and the fire.
Yeah.
So for example, if you have a duplex, you need to fire block the duplex. The one unit has to give the other unit 2 hours of fire protection by code. So there's fire rated sheetrock or drywall. It's called Fire X drywall. There's fire rated insulation, and there's fire blocking. Fire blocking is you're blocking the smoke, the air, from being able to travel from one area to another.
Wow. Whereas something that's fire resistant, it stops the fire, but the smoke travels.
Fire blocking or fire resistance they're interchangeable as far as I'm concerned. Okay. I could be wrong, but as far as I'm concerned, they're interchangeable.
Very interesting.
But you're fire blocking these sectors. So for example, let's say you have a basement. Just picture a basement real quick, and you have utilities in this basement. There's a furnace down there. If there's a fire in that basement, you want to give the homeowner a couple of hours of time.
For sure.
Right? If all of the basement is open, is engulfed, and it can travel through the walls, the fire is going to move faster because it has air, right? But if you fire block these areas, if you just put a block, literally a piece of wood, could even do it with insulation, with a spray foam, like fire retardant spray foam. All you're doing is you're preventing that fire from moving as fast. Fire is still going to move, bro. It's a fire. Yeah. But you're just giving the homeowner...
You're buying time.
You're giving the homeowner a building code allowable time.
Yeah.
Couple hours to do it.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're really wrapping things up. You put the muscles in, the bones are there.
Yeah.
Outside's looking good. No water's getting in.
Yeah.
How do we make this house look sexy, man? How we finishing up?
That is a question of perception.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different eye. You know what I'm saying? You can be, I've seen builders that are amazing builders. They build beautiful structures. And then you look inside and you say, what a goddamn shame. You know what I'm saying? You could have done so much better with the interior of that bathroom, that kitchen. Yep. You know what I'm saying? That depends on who the designer is. Yeah. Bro, I'm not a flipper. I'm a designer. I design product, and that product happens to be a home. When it comes to flipping a home, the better your end product is, the more marketable your product is. Yes. The faster your sale, and the higher you get paid for it. That's
actually putting in effort and not trying to slap paint on a pig type of thing.
I mean, everybody has their way of doing it.
For sure. You
know what I'm saying? My way of doing it is different. Yep. You know, I want to see something that I'm like
proud of.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. Okay, so we're looking at sheetrock, drywall, right? Door trims, window casings, things like that. Like, walk me through that process. So you have everything's insulated. What's your first thing? Are you putting up sheetrock and drywall?
So it's insulated. You pass insulation. You pass fire blocking. You pass the framing.
Yep.
You pass all utilities. All utilities are passed. You're now drywalling. Drywall is basically gypsum board. Okay. It's sheetrock.
Yep.
You know. Now there's different grades to sheetrock. There's 1/4 inch. There's 1/2 inch. There's 5/8. There's fire rated. There's mold resistant. They're all different.
Right.
And there's different applications for that drywall. Your contractor should know all of this. Okay. And based on the code that's needed, he should know where to put which kind of drywall.
Right.
Mold resistant drywall should be in your bathrooms, should be in your kitchen, should be in your bathrooms. There's a basement, you can use it in there. So you drywall the house. Once you drywall the house, you compound, you start to finish the seams within the panels.
Right.
Once you have a drywalled house, now you can start trimming. You can put your doors in, you can put your window casings in.
Nice.
You can begin to put the eyebrows, the eyelashes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ears on.
Yeah.
You begin to put the features on the home.
Put the house on fleek, man.
Yeah, exactly. And you can start finishing your bathrooms. You can start finishing your kitchen. All of the trim work should go in at that point.
I want to take a second appreciation, man, for your bathrooms. That's something that sticks out every single time. So we should put like a photo here or something, or check out his Instagram, man.
Yeah.
You completely
Thanks,
kill
man.
it. You kill it in every regard, but you walk in that bathroom, I feel like I'm
Yeah.
walking into Morocco, bro.
Yeah.
In a great way.
Yeah, it's like a spa.
Yeah.
I try to give him.
Like a
I try to give
bathhouse
him
vibe.
a bathroom that when you walk in, you're like, this is nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You definitely nailed that.
That's what I try to do. So I'm glad it.
Just with the color combos, the gold and
Thanks,
the
man.
green sometimes. Yeah.
I'm glad it translates.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you do stuff and it doesn't translate.
Yeah, like it's good in your head, but actually putting it to the physical
Yes.
world is
Is
different.
a design concept may not look the same when you implement.
Did you have a lot of mistakes like that early on?
Yeah, I mean, you design wise, you're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have a different background, bro. Like I designed other products for years,
Right.
so I had to learn color.
That's true.
We had to understand color. If we didn't understand color, there's no way we would do what we're doing
That's so true.
on the promotional product side. So we have a background of design. Like I design patent pending products.
Dope.
You know what I'm saying? So I understood the process, the tech packs, the fabrics, the materials. I went through the process to learn it.
Yeah.
You know, and if I had a sellable product, I was happy. But I wanted to understand it and learn it.
Absolutely. Great. Okay. Cool. You throw up the sheetrock.
Yeah.
Have the good stuff put in. Are you doing kitchen or flooring first? Right after that.
Once your drywall is up, you want to put your flooring in and cover it up. Everybody has a different process of doing this. Some people are like waiting to do the floors the very last. You have to do your kitchen floor because you have to put the cabinets on top. So I want to knock out all flooring and then cover it up.
Right.
I want to get it out of my way. So I have my flooring guys put in the flooring and then wrap it with like ram board. It's like a thick paper board that
Okay.
prevents it from getting scratched and
Got it.
damaged. So once they put
the
that
whole
in,
staining process at the very end too. You just put it in, wrap it up.
after all like the bathrooms are done, the kitchen cabinets are in, everything's in, the ram board comes out. If these are hardwood floors, they get stained. If not, the ram board stays. Then the painter is the final
Gotcha.
step.
But before we jump into that, talk about like backsplash, just some of the kitchen things you put in.
Yeah, you have to
Talk about that big island you just pulled off as well.
I want design and utility.
Yeah.
I want somebody to walk into a kitchen and be wowed, knocked off their feet. This is not for every flip, bro. Some flips are basic flips.
Right.
But the price range that I'm in, I need an elevated product.
Right.
And really I've always had a plan with my Reno business. My plan was to take it to the ocean, to take it to the beach, take it to the resort. So I knew that I had to understand an elevated product.
Right.
Because I did that with other products. I started in another area and then I moved it to resort areas because the air, like the money was just different.
Yeah.
So my plan was always to take my renovation business back to where I started. Like building resort housing.
Right.
You understand? Like luxury resort housing. So because I had that thinking, when I would flip a house, my product, I would try to get the best product out of it. I would give them an oversized island, like 11-foot island. I'd give them a wow factor.
Yeah.
They'd walk in and be like, wow, this is a nice house.
You could land an airplane on that thing, man.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. And that's the intended effect.
Talk about the granite tops too, man. That's special.
Those are quartz.
Okay.
But we try to include, a high quality finish.
Yeah.
In order to include a high quality finish, you want to use some good materials.
Gold flakes and all that.
Yeah.
I'm a gold type of guy, so
Yeah.
that was a great touch. Especially like the white and gold. We're talking about one of your recent flips that you're about to put on market.
So if you guys are interested in taking a look at some of these flips, we'll include it in the description. You can go check out our page and see some of the recent flips that we did.
Absolutely, man.
So once you have all of that in place, your cabinets are in place, your counters are in place, your painter's coming in last. Now you have a product.
Yep.
You're finished. Is your job finished?
No. You still have to stage it. Talk about that.
You still got to sell this thing, man.
Yeah.
Soon as you're done, you have to sell it.
That's a fact. So you've been paying the loan this whole time, dealing with contractors, making sure everything's
You're the
put
last
together.
person to get paid. Guys, if you want to be an investor, you need to understand the key rule investing. You're the last guy to get paid. Everybody gets paid before you. Everybody. You're the last person to make money. If you did everything right, if you didn't screw this up, you're the last person on the list. Your GCs, your plumber, like everybody got their money. Your landscapers, everybody got paid. I'm the last person to get paid.
And that's not guaranteed.
Nothing's guaranteed.
The market responds.
Nothing's guaranteed. It's a business. You're making an investment.
Yeah.
If you guys are overwhelmed by the list, here's another way to do this. If you're overwhelmed by the like, if I didn't simplify this and pitch this to you in the easy version, where it sounds like you can buy a course and then flip a house in the next day, that's because I'm telling you the truth. Okay? If you want to do this correctly, this is the way to do it.
Yes.
Now, if you think that this is an overwhelming process, there's different ways to invest. You can wholesale your way into this.
Yep.
You can partner with somebody that understands this really well and learn from them.
Yes.
Take a year, 2 years, learn how they operate.
Yep.
Implement this into their process and learn from them. And then once you learn from them, you'll be in a position to do what? To flip your own property.
That's it.
This is not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Absolutely.
If you plan on becoming an investor, you plan on buying and selling houses, there's no time frame on your process. You learn it as you go.
Just keep on winning. Get into the game. That's the most important thing. Just get into the game.
Just get into the game. Forget about making mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Yeah. Learn.
If you're brand new, man, you could be a bird dog.
Just learn.
Write down addresses. Send it off to investors.
What I wish I had, in all honesty, was I wish I had a friend, somebody that I could just pull up on their job sites and just ask questions.
That's been tremendous for me.
Like, I bet. That's amazing.
He's like, yo, meet me at Harris.
Yeah.
Boom, we out there. And I'm just seeing the process
You're
unfold.
learning.
100%.
You're learning how to flip a house.
Yes.
In real time.
Yeah.
And
without losing my money doing the process myself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big difference right there.
You're learning and you're not taking any risk.
Yes.
So that's a huge up.
It's a huge advantage for sure.
That's the benefit of having a good network.
Yes.
So I'm at a stage where I'm a little bit more advanced on this side. So you get all of that. You get all of that education. You get all that osmosis.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way
You know
to
what
put
I mean?
it. Yeah.
So
It's
that's an interesting way to think of it.
Authenticity, man.
Yeah. So now you have a product. It's done. You have a product. Now it's time for you to get paid. How are you going to get paid? I'm asking you, Reem. I need to light my cigar for this joint.
You have a product. How do you get paid?
Mm-hmm.
You have to stage the property. From what I've seen so far. Stage it real nice. Kind of paint a picture of what someone's going to move in. They're going to move in with their family, live in the property. Put it on the market, man. You have to know your numbers. You have to know your ARV.
Who's going to put it on the market?
Real estate agent.
Which one?
A good one.
How do you know they're good?
Damn. I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
How do you know that they're not going to price your house wrong?
I don't know.
How do you know that when you put the house up, you're like, I want 500. They're like, nah, you're going to get like 350 for it. And you're like, what are you talking about?
They're already fighting against you.
How do you know they're not an like there's different agents for different applications. There's buyer agents, there's seller agents, there's investor agents. You have to understand what kind of agent you're working with. Here's a quick way to understand. Guys, for those of you guys that are at this stage and you're looking for an agent to list your property, here's a quick and easy way to understand the agent that you're working with. Ask them, hey, Miss So-and-so, I noticed that you do a lot of deals in this area. Are you an investor's agent? Are you a buyer's agent? Are you a seller's agent? Who do you normally work with? Are you comfortable working with investors? Yes. Okay, wonderful. You understand?
100%.
You understand what kind of agent that person is.
You have to feel them out.
Yes. And then also they need to hit you with the comparables. If they're going to list your property, they should run a comparables report.
Yeah.
A comparables report, for those of you that don't know, is basically a report that tells you what has sold in the last 6 months in a half-mile radius around your property. From that, you both can deduce what to price that house at. Yep. If you're sitting there arguing with your agent, you're already like you're fighting with your salesperson. Your agent is an employee of yours. Your agent is providing you with a service. They're there to sell the product for you. They're working for you. Right or wrong?
Yeah. What would you do if one of your employees for your different businesses start fighting against you?
Then they're insubordinate.
Yeah.
What you want me to say?
Yeah.
That's insubordination. Like you have to listen. If I'm telling you what's right, if I'm telling you what's good, what needs to be done. Yeah. Now, an agent may have more experience in a market than you do, but you also have a brain. Where's your comparables report?
So you got to be confident in your ability as an investor. Man.
Absolutely. You need to know what your renovated per square foot cost is. You got to ask them that question. What's renovated per square foot selling for in the area? Renovated. If they give you just like a low per square foot, ask them the question. Say, hey, is this renovated or unrenovated? Which one is it? Once you have that renovated per square foot, right? You take that and you multiply it by the square footage of your property. And now you have a range. If they're $100,000 off, something's not right.
Right. That makes sense.
There's a lot of agents that are great agents, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking agents. There's great agents. What I'm saying is that there's inexperienced agents.
100%.
And when they're inexperienced, you pay for their mistakes. If you get $20,000, $30,000 less for your property, they only lose like 3%. Like they split the 3% with their office. They only lose a 1.5.
Right.
Now, if you got like a situation with your agent where you have a split a commission, let's just say it's 3%. They're gonna split that percentage with their office. They have a lot less to lose than you do.
That's a good point.
You got $30,000 to lose by taking a price cut. They got a couple $100 to lose. Yeah. They want to sell the house. Yeah. So what do you think they're gonna tell you? Reduce the price.
Yeah. Try to get in your ear.
You know what I'm saying? That's not the best interest of your client.
No.
So you gotta challenge that. You gotta challenge that in a respectful way. Hey, look, the comps are selling for in this price range. We have this bathroom count, this bedroom count. Why is this not selling?
Something I want to touch on, man. Like in real estate, it's gonna be a lot of people's opinions. It could be some valid ones, some non-valid ones. You have to let the data speak for itself. That's really what you're harping on.
Absolutely. If you're not letting the data drive your, like one thing about me, you're gonna understand. I'm a data-driven person. I want to see the numbers.
Yeah.
I don't care what your opinion is. Your opinion is not that important to me. I want to see how are you coming with that decision? Yeah. Show me the analytics.
How'd you come to that conclusion?
I want to see a comparables report. I want to know how you made that decision. Now, if I see that you're winging that shit, we got a problem.
Yeah.
If I see that you have a point, I'm not mad. I'm not too proud to say, look, I'm gonna reanalyze it.
Right. It's an objective truth, man.
Yeah.
You have subjective truth, objective truth.
This is very objective in the real estate.
Yeah, it has to be.
There's a lot of objectiveness in the real estate.
For sure.
And you have to understand what you're willing to be okay with and what you're not.
Right.
Most importantly, you got to be able to work with that agent. The personality of that agent matters.
Because they're doing showings for you.
You got to work with them, bro. It's a relationship. Yeah. You know, if they got a bad attitude or they're not really willing to listen to what you have to say, they're working for you. Why are you dealing with that?
Working against you at that point.
And I would not sign a listing agreement until I understood who I was dealing with.
Yeah.
By signing a listing agreement, you're agreeing to list a property with this agent for a set amount of time. By signing that listing agreement, you're saying to that agent, I'm going to work with you for this amount of time.
Exclusive rights. Yeah.
What happens if your agent is not the right agent for you and you're locked in with 6 months with them?
Well, the market's changing in those 6 months. You're still paying the carrying costs in those 6 months.
You're taking all the risk.
You're getting cooked.
You're getting cooked. You're getting cooked. And what they got? Excuses.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? That's all they got for you because they ain't gonna pay.
They're not gonna
You're
take
gonna split the
accountability.
utilities with them, the holding costs.
Yeah, that's so true.
You know what I'm saying?
Time is money in this game, bro.
Yeah.
Time is so money.
So
It's your best interest to renovate that house, sell it ASAP, so you're not paying a bunch of
with the right
holding
agent.
costs. With the right agent.
With the right agent, just do your due diligence. Find a good agent.
Yeah.
All agents are not created equal.
Do you usually use the same amount of agents for your flips currently, or are you always finding new ones?
It depends on the listing.
In the
So I have a
area and all that?
relationship with certain agents that if they bring me a property, I'll reciprocate that, but I'll give them the listing.
Okay. Yeah, you get good deals that way for sure.
Absolutely. They're more incentivized to bring me a deal, an
Right.
off-market deal.
Whether like it's a buy and hold because they can source a tenant too, you know.
I
You
have,
ever do a deal like that?
I have different agents that I work with. If agent calls me and says, "Yo, I have a flip for you," I'll agree to give them the listing.
Yeah,
I'll say, "Look, once it's done, it's yours, and here's the work that I've done in the past."
that's fire.
Yeah. So they
It's
get
like a mutual agreement coming into it.
they get the double dip, but they gotta trust me.
Yeah.
They gotta know that at the end of this thing, like I'm gonna do what I said I'm gonna do.
Do you have to like sign some sort of agreement to trust, or they
No.
just? I'm sure once you send them to work and all
They
that,
know who I am.
yeah,
So they usually if
That's
they
a
send me
fact.
something, they know what
So,
the work,
yeah,
what I've done.
your credibility goes a long way
Yeah.
for sure.
So once you have that agent in place, now you market the house. You need the right photos.
Yeah,
Now you need the right photos. You need to have it staged
your
correctly.
marketing, yeah,
You need to make sure it's syndicated and pushed out to all the real estate websites. You need to make sure that the marketing, the listing is correct.
right,
That there's no mistakes on that. You understand?
absolutely.
And it's priced right. You're having open houses. You need to make sure you have to treat your agent like a sub. Is the sub doing their job?
Like a
Are they doing open houses?
Yeah,
Is the now if it's not selling, I'm looking at what do the photos look like. I start
Try to
dissecting.
pinpoint, yeah,
I try to pinpoint I try to problem solve
for sure.
because they're not going to problem solve it.
Yeah,
You're
the
paying
investor.
for it.
Yeah, you're the investor, man.
Yeah,
So okay, cool. Let's just say, boom, you found yourself a buyer.
yeah.
They're using maybe a FHA. Like, what does that look like dealing with their lenders? Because typically they use lending to buy these houses.
So once you get a buyer, first of all, all buyers are not created equal.
That's for sure.
All buyers are not created equal. A FHA buyer is a longer process. It's a more riskier endeavor when it comes to selling a property.
Real quick, for the record, we're talking about retail buyers.
Yes.
Like investors are not buying fix and flip properties at all.
Finished properties.
Finished, yeah.
Yeah, retail ready.
These are
properties.
people that want to move into the house.
They could buy them if they're priced wrong. Shout out to your agent. Right or wrong? You know, you flip the house and then the agent's like, yeah, it's worth like $100,000 less. And then homeboy, the investor on the block is like, that's wrong.
Right.
Let me go in and offer that and buy that up real quick, put it on the market.
Eat their lunch, man.
Yeah. It's a cold world.
It's a fact.
It's frosty out there.
So yeah, talk about the lending process for your buyer.
When you get an offer, your offer is contingent upon funding. In most cases in retail, on the retail market.
Okay.
So you get an offer, you get an FHA offer, you get a conventional offer. You seldomly get a cash offer on a property, on a retail buy. Usually a retail ready product, people are getting funding in place in order to purchase it. So what you want to do is you want to work with your agent, and you want to get the agent to give you the best offer that you can get. That best offer may not be the best dollar amount. It may be the best qualified buyer. You get, let's say you're selling a house for $350,000. You got an offer for $370 FHA or $360 FHA, right? And then you get another offer for all cash $350, closing in 2 weeks.
That's different.
Okay, and then you get an offer for conventional for $360 or $355, conventional, 20% down. Which one of those is the best offer
Yeah, I'm taking quick cash
for you?
for me.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe the investor's tight. He needs that 10K.
Yeah,
You got to understand what the best offer for you is.
that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. I love it, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely crushing. I have a personal question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we just ran through all this.
Yeah.
All the potential issues, the details. You're very detail oriented with all the flips.
Yeah.
How did you do 9 flips? You did 9 of these at the same time. Who would do that? Only the Sheik, huh?
The Sheik, baby.
The Sheik guy.
The Sheik, baby.
You did 9 of these bad boys at the same time. Simultaneous.
First of all, God is the greatest. That was probably one of the most challenging things I've ever done. Yeah, I really pressed myself on that
How
one.
recent was this, for the record?
In the last 12 months.
Yeah.
I flipped like 12, like 9 properties, more than 9, to be honest.
All under contract.
There was a few ones that were done.
purchase.
I think it was not. Was it 9 when you include all the rentals and stuff like that? Yeah, like 12.
So these are like you all kind of closed like within a month or two from.
Bro, that's not
each other.
including what we've done in wholesale and everything else.
Yeah.
That's not including the other business.
Multiple companies.
I'm just talking about
wholesale.
flipping these houses.
Yeah.
So when it came down to that, bro, I believe in testing myself. Like I really believe that. I don't think that you become great in life by doing good work, basic work. And doing great work means challenging yourself and pushing your muscle, right, to a point where it's sometimes at the breaking point. That's not a comfortable place to be in for most people. A lot of people avoid that like the plague. Right? Like they're not trying to do all that, bro. Like I'm trying to see something nice. Trying to sit on the beach. You know, I'm trying to smoke a nice cigar.
Pina colada, bro.
I get all that. I like a cigar too. Monte Cristo today, right? Monte Cristo.
Shout out to the Monte Cristo.
White Series. Spectacular.
Delicious.
Delicious. Delicious. Yeah, I like doing that.
Yeah. You like testing yourself.
I love it.
You like going into the deep end.
I want to deep dive. I want to scuba. You understand? I want to scuba dive. I want to go deep.
No tank.
No, I want to tank. but I want to tank. Of course, I want to tank. I want to test, but I'm gonna turn off the tank sometimes and just see.
See,
I'm just
I
gonna
know
do
you,
that.
right? Like,
I'm gonna turn the valve off.
how long can I hold my breath at this depth?
Exactly. And I'm gonna look around and be like, "There's nobody holding their breath.
Yeah.
I'm right where I need to be."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
That's funny.
And honestly, those are the times. I'm being honest. And honestly, those are the times in life where you really know who you are. You don't really know yourself or the people that you're around when things are easy.
That's so true.
You really know yourself and the people that you're around when things are at their most stressful. It's a funny thing, right? When people are the most stressed, in my belief, my view in life is you really understand who a person is. You don't know a person when things are going well. You know a person when they're at their worst. That's when you know somebody. You know a person when shit hits the fan. You know your relationship, you know your marriage, you know your friendships, you know your partnerships. When things go bad. When shit's great, y'all having dinner, y'all partying, y'all smoking cigars, y'all having a good time. There ain't no testing that.
No.
There's no, you don't know that person.
No adversity.
There's no adversity.
It goes back to Colleen's story.
Pause. In plumbing, this is very, very important. Very important. Thank you, God. In plumbing, you have a process that's called pressurizing the pipes. Okay? What you do is you seal off every pipe in a water line, and you allow water to enter those pipes, and it pressurizes those pipes. And when it pressurizes those pipes, you can see clearly where the leaks are. You understand?
Yeah.
Life is about understanding how to pressurize those pipes without flooding the house. You understand that?
That's true.
You pressurize the pipes and you look back without completely destroying the home. You may have a leak that you need to seal up. That's okay. You cut it, you fix it, you seal it. But now you know where the leak is. I'm an expert at pressurizing the pipes. I apply the right amount of pressure to see where the pipes are at.
Wow.
You understand?
Wow.
Now, for a lot of people, they don't want to do that, bro. Like, they don't want to pressurize no pipes.
Yeah.
They just want to just be
Smooth
cool.
this. Yeah, they want to.
Yeah, but you're not going to do the most. You're not going to compete in this world against the best
Right.
by not testing yourself.
That's so true.
You know?
That's so true.
Because
Because you are competing with the best out here,
I'm
bro.
competing with the best.
There's people spending hundreds of thousands of dollars into marketing, into this, building the business company.
I'm not comparing myself to any clowns. What the hell I want to do that for? I'm not saying those people are clowns. I'm saying if I'm going to compare myself, why would it be to somebody that's not doing it on a scale? If I'm going to flip homes, I want to do it with the best. I want to stand next to the best. If I'm gonna be a wholesaler, I want to be the best wholesaler that I can be.
Yeah.
If I want to hold doors, I want to hold the most doors that I can hold. Why would I want to go into it and be mediocre? When did you ever wake up in your life and be like, damn, I can't wait to be mediocre?
Yeah.
I sent you guys a video the other day. Did you guys watch it?
Will Smith one?
Yeah.
Yep. He's like 90%.
What'd you think about that video?
That was eye-opening for sure.
Yeah.
What was the premise? He's like 90% is like when you get the work done, you're at 90%, you feel like you're good. Like, hey, I did this. But to be great, it's at 10%. It's not like you just step into that 10%. You got to change the people around you. You have to change your environment. You got to change the way you're eating, the way you're sleeping to get that maximum output, whether that's like being a basketball player, being a real estate investor. Because like you said, we're not doing this shit to be fucking mediocre, bro.
Let me ask you a question. In the last 12 months, when me and you would meet up,
yeah,
and you saw me with a Viking mode activated, the Sheik was away at that time. You know what I'm saying? I had to put him back. I had to bring out the Viking. Yeah. Did I look like I was eating well?
I feel like you didn't seem like you were eating at all.
Did I look like I was doing it easy?
Nah.
Did I look like I was struggling?
Nah. Bro, I remember the moment we pulled up at a diner together.
Yeah.
I had the Broad Market Home t-shirt.
Yeah.
Some khakis.
Yeah.
Some boots. The longest my man's beard has ever been. My man had drywall on his shirt. My man was getting busy, bro.
So
he's like, I'm in Viking mode right now.
My question to you is, if I was concerned with like all that ancillary shit, how could you ever be great? The Will Smith video hit home for me, and I sent it out to as many people as I thought could bring value from that.
Right.
Because he said something to me that was very interesting, and I always think that. He said, when I was at 90%, I brought this to somebody, and he said, that's great. You're halfway there. And I always feel like that. When my projects are at 90%, I'm like, damn, I'm halfway there.
Wow.
You understand what I mean? That the difference between 90 and 100% are light years away from everything else. That top 10 percentile of flippers, they're not the same as everybody else. That top 10% of wholesalers, they're not the same as everybody else. They're not the same. Those guys are different. Right. Michael Jordan is not the same as every other NBA player. Kobe is not the same as every other NBA player. They're not the same, bro. Like, it's okay, but they're not the same. Kobe practiced for hours and hours. He agonized over his craft.
Yep.
You understand? I'm out here flipping home. I'm losing sleep over the color of gold. If it's champagne versus polished versus brushed, ain't nobody paying attention to that. You know, most people don't even see a difference. I see a difference. I'm bothered by it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I agonize over it. It's being top 10% of any craft, and you're not troubled by the detail, you're not that top 10%. You're not supposed to be in that category.
You're not cut for it, man.
You're not cut for it. And that's you when you see Elon giving an interview, that man is agonized by his craft. He's in pain. You can see that shit. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
That's not fun. Mm-hmm. My body for the last 12 months flipping these houses, bro, I be walking out my house first thing in the morning. First of all, I have my coffee every morning. Thank God for coffee. All right. Mm-hmm. But I'm working 12, 15-hour days, and I'm
7 days a week.
7 days a week, and I'm driving home. I'm not seeing my girls, and you know, you feel your body is in pain. You know, when you're going through that much stress, it metastasizes in your body. You feel it in physical pain. I take like 2 ibuprofens a day every day.
Word.
Yeah, throughout that process, because my body was telling me you're in pain. My mind was telling me you ain't never gonna stop. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I understand we're selling the courses. Like, I understand what they're doing. They're selling the fun. I'm selling you the real.
This is what we doing, bro.
I'm not about that noise. I don't need to sell you a course. I'm getting to that bag if you haven't noticed.
Yo.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't need to sell you anything. What I want to do is I want to educate you. That's completely different. I want to tell you the truth. The truth is not pleasant always. Sometimes it's painful. And when you do it on a level where you're 90% plus, it's not going to be comfortable. And if you don't want to play in that sandbox, then take your ass at home.
There's nothing wrong with it, bro.
Go do something else.
Yep.
That's it. You know what I mean? It's not, you don't have to do that. But also, real recognizes real.
Yeah.
The top 10% of flippers are there for a reason. The top 10% of wholesalers are there for a reason. The top 10% of clothing designers are there for a reason. The top 10% of architects are there for a reason.
That's a good point. Like, you don't mistakenly fall into a top percent, bro. You have a plan laid out, and you're giving it 110% effort every time.
My brother.
Lean forward for me.
My brother. This is better?
Yeah.
My brother. People are agonized by their craft.
That's an interesting thought, man.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
They're agonized by their craft. They're in pain over their craft. They don't see their kids because of their craft. My daughter, sometimes I come home and one of my daughter would tell me, Dad, is today the day?
Today the day for what?
Exactly. Is today the day that we get to spend time together?
How's that make you feel?
Horrible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How does that make me feel? It makes me feel horrible. But I have something I have to do. It's not just for me. It's for them. They're kids. They don't understand that.
Right.
They don't understand that I'm building their legacy. All they want to do is they want to spend time with their father. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
That's a different way to think about. If you want to flip one house and do this to make some money, phenomenal. Let's not go too deep. Take the list, start your projects.
Yeah.
Okay?
This is like a different little segue.
I'm talking about the top 10. All right? If y'all trying to be the top 10 of this game, if you're trying to be the top 10 percentile,
requires sacrifice.
it's a different level. I'm not talking about money sacrifice.
No.
I'm talking about all sacrifice.
Money comes
Man,
and
you
goes,
may
bro.
fuck around and lose your marriage because you're fucking dedicated to some shit.
Yo, facts.
Honestly,
100%.
you may fuck around and lose your personal relationships because you're so dedicated to what you do that they just can't understand. They can't understand it.
Yes.
They can't understand why you're so committed to these things. They may even be the beneficiary of these things.
That's for sure.
They may have the most to gain. They may be actually living as a beneficiary while you're doing it and you're agonizing in pain and they're upset at you for it.
That's real talk.
What do you like? You understand?
Oh, yeah.
It's not easy. No. If you want to flip a house a year,
you should do it, man.
in the right corner, go for it. What I'm saying to you is if you go on a war to be the best and you're competing against the best, please understand.
It's a different game.
It's a different kind of commitment, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm keeping it a buck with everybody.
And this is reality, bro. Like, these houses are being built from the ground up a lot of times. Full gut rehabs. Even if it's, midway through. There's only so much you could pump fake on Instagram, bro.
Bro.
This is real shit.
You can't.
This is real loans, real people, real contractors,
bro,
real risks.
There's 100%. And I think that the right thing to do is to educate people about all of the risks and then tell them, do you want to create generational wealth or not? Do you want to change your life and the lives of your kids, your family? Yes. Okay, then you're going to have to take some fucking risks.
Yeah.
You're going to have to break your back. You're going to have to do things that are not comfortable. You're going to have to lose time. You're going to have to lose sleep. You're going to have to wake up at 4 a.m. You're going to have to fight with banks. You're You're gonna have to do all these things if you want to be great. If you want to flip a house, it's not that hard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, like the concept is simple.
the concept is simple.
It's
What I did
execution.
was like, forget it. It was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was like,
That's why I wanted to, touch on that personal tip,
yeah,
because like you just came out of that,
it was hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy, but it was hard because people made it hard for me. The banks made it difficult. There were some
Right.
things that did not go the way I planned.
Contractors walking out the job.
I had a lot of problematic situations,
Yeah,
but God is the greatest.
always.
When it comes to that, He always gives me what I need.
Yo,
He always delivers me what I need. And this has not been any different.
that's true. We spoke about this. Like God will only put you through situations that He knows that you can handle.
Absolutely.
That's like we know that now. So anytime you run,
I'm a living testament of that.
true.
You know what I mean?
So any problem you face, it might feel overbearing. Like, yo, how am I going to figure this out? But understand, you have everything inside you to figure this out.
It's that
That's very empowering for sure.
your tests are supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The tests are supposed to happen. How you react to them is what matters.
Right.
Like, bro, a lot of people don't even know what was going on until after it was done. You see me laughing, joking, I be calling you shooting shit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know,
That's a fact.
right? You see physically, like, things are going down. You see signs, symptoms, but you don't really know
Yeah.
because I don't allow that to control me.
Yeah.
I mitigate, like, I package it well. I compartmentalize it well.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And you got to do that when you're tested, when you're tried in life. You
That's
have
so
to put yourself in a position where you can manage the stress well.
What does that look like? Like, how do you? Is it in a shower at the gym when you compartmentalize?
I mean, honestly, thank God I started going to the gym again.
Yo.
Like that was like life changing.
It's
for me.
amazing, right?
Yeah, because it gave me more. It allowed me to physically exhaust myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And by physically exhausting myself, I sleep better.
Yep.
You know, like I sleep better. It also takes my mind off of whatever is going on. It's been very good for me.
Yes.
Mentally, it's been very good for me.
Yeah, highly recommend for the men and the ladies out there, man.
Yeah.
It's one of the best things you can ever do in your life, bro.
Yeah, you do it for yourself.
100%. Your money can't buy a great body. I mean, you got BBLs and all that flying around, but
Yeah.
that's fake.
Money can't
No
buy
offense.
money can't buy peace. Peace. And you find your peace in different ways.
Yeah.
Whether that peace is you're working out, whether your peace is your relationship with God, whether that peace happens to be your significant other. If you can't get it from them, you got to go get that peace
You
somewhere
have
else.
to, bro. You owe it
You
to
got to go find that peace.
Yeah, you owe it to yourself.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting 12 months. Would I have done it? Would I do it again? Fuck yeah.
You probably fuck around, double up.
I'll double up.
Double up.
I'm different, bro.
Yeah, that's
You know
for
what I mean?
sure.
Like I'm not. You ain't stopping me. So
Salute, man.
if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it twice as hard.
Yo,
And I figured out where the loose plumbing is,
right.
where the leaks are at.
That's how you, yeah, because you're not hurting yourself. You're just identifying the weak point.
I know where the plumbing is leaking.
Yeah.
So now that I know where the plumbing, I'm gonna seal that bitch up, and we going harder. 2025, we coming harder.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We halfway through the decade, man.
Yeah.
Interesting times since COVID and all this going on. The election's coming up next month, just about.
Bro, you have one experience in this world. Like, do you really want to live this life and look back at it and say, man, I didn't accomplish shit?
That's my biggest fear, bro.
Like, I don't know.
What about you, Phil? What do you think? I agree. Yeah.
Right? Who wants to live a life unaccomplished? Like, you're 80 years old, you're sitting in a rocking chair, you're looking around at your grandchildren. They're like, Granddad, what did you do? You'd be like, I don't know. What did I do? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? You tell me. I don't know.
I don't know. Or you be sitting in a rocking chair with your grandchildren, or you can be in the grave with your great grandkids, and they can be like, that was a real one. That whoever that was a real one.
That's how you live on forever. People have to talk about you afterwards, bro.
I mean,
You get forgotten, dude.
I think a lot of people get forgotten.
Yeah.
One of the most important things I think people should do. Look,
It's real talk, man.
Yeah, if you're, you know, if you're somebody that can't handle in-depth emotional things, it's not for you. When you go to bury somebody, just look around at how many years of life they had. You know, when you look at a gravestone, it tells you the year of life that people have lived. We don't always get the same 80.
That's so true.
The same 100. Some of these cats' expiration dates is
37
30 something,
Yeah.
40 something, 50 something. We don't have a lot of time, bro.
That's not.
We really don't. To live a mediocre life and to not understand that you don't really have that much time on this earth is crazy to me. So you're asking me, like, would I do it again? Hell fucking yeah, I will.
Yeah.
What's the alternative exactly? This is the best vehicle that I found to create wealth. If I don't become great at it, what is the alternative?
That's so true.
Like, what is the alternative? Nothing?
Just to walk away from it.
Nah, that ain't gonna work.
Because you identified it, just like identifying the deal.
We're identifying it in multiple areas. That's the thing that is very interesting. I think that over time, I think people will come to understand. We're not just I had one of my print guys tell me the other day, he's like, I thought you would be running with that ball faster. And I said, you thought so? He was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's because you don't understand what other balls I'm running with. You think the only place I'm playing the game is there. I'm playing multiple games in different places.
3D chess, man.
So if you're sitting there doing multiple things at multiple times, it takes you longer. And sometimes people don't even understand what the interaction between these things are. But there's an underlying denominator. But they don't understand it, and they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
So you don't have to sell that reason to anyone.
That's a good point, man.
But there always is an underlying denominator.
Yeah. That's so true.
You understand? So God is good, bro.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what your challenges are, He's gonna give you the tools that you need. Whether you're Colleen or you're flipping some houses, she had a way flipping some houses ain't shit. She has a way harder scenario.
She's about to walk again.
Bro, she didn't have legs. You know what I'm saying? You're comparing no legs to a year of some hard work. That ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Perspective right there.
Compared to her, that's why I tell you I'm inspired by her.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's the kind of situation that I think a lot of people. I thought about this driving over here to do this podcast. Would I have handled this the way that she handled it, being in her shoes? I don't know. Would you?
And in what
Would you have been able to pull off what she pulled off in a wheelchair?
Oh, jeez. I can't make that call.
That's why I'm inspired by her.
That's a good way to look at it.
Would I have handled it the same way? I don't know. Would I have played victim? Probably not. It's not my MO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just imagine that scenario for a second. Just put yourself in that shoes. Very interesting. If you guys have taken value from this video, if you guys are enjoying these podcasts, if you're taking value from this video, I really, really need you to give us a thumbs up. If you love what we're doing, if you want to see more of this, I need you to subscribe. If you want to follow me on Instagram or Kareem on Instagram, Kareem, why don't you give him your handle real quick?
Best way to find me on IG is at KR Direct LLC. Follow the journey.
You can follow me on Instagram, SINAN_EASMAEL. Ismael.
And I'm on
Right, on
Facebook,
IG.
Kareem Robinson. I have the little headphones on. I got 2 different pages. Follow the business page.
If you guys are interested in this content, we have a playlist. It's a master class on business, life, investing. We don't have to know each other personally. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to.
Yeah.
You can take all of this information free. We're putting it up there for everybody to get value from. We believe information is free. It travels freely. People put barriers of entry in front of it. They put paywalls in front of it. We're giving it out for free. And the more I think about it, the more I think that's the model that I want to go with. I think a paywall is not the right way to do it. So we're going to be giving out this information for free for the foreseeable future. Okay? If you want to take more value out of this, hit the playlist. Check out the last video we did. What was the title of the last video we did? Finding Your Why is very, very important. understanding why you want to be an investor. That's also on the playlist. The last video we did.
It pulls you through when time gets tough.
Absolutely.
It's going to get tough.
Absolutely. And then the video before that was what?
I'm sorry, I don't have it. Let me pull it up.
The 10 real estate commandments. That's also a really good one on how to go from zero to a deal in wholesaling. This one was really focused on flipping a house. Again, if you're taking value from this, give us a thumbs up, follow us. Thank you for watching.
Thanks. What we doing?
My man is sitting here. What are you having over here, bro?
Yeah, we got the hot mint tea.
My man out here eating baklava.
Walnut.
What is that? What kind of baklava is that?
Walnut.
Man, exotic with it. Exotic with it.
Bro.
My man getting them slaps.
Yeah, we slapping, bro.
Closing out deals.
Second day of the month.
Eating exotic.
Yeah.
Driving exotic.
Yo.
What's up, man?
We out here cooking, bro. We just getting warmed up.
Can we vacation exotic too?
Coming real soon.
Where we trying to go?
We're going to lock on Q4.
Yeah.
And it's going to get real warm somewhere. In the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.